Hello, everybody. Welcome. Let me go ahead and get my screen shared with all of you guys and get started here for back to school night 2021-22. Oops. There we go. All right, cool. Well, welcome everyone and welcome back to our new school year. This is for CP Biology. My name is Nandi Davin. And yeah, welcome to 2021-22 school years. Let's go ahead and get started. Just a quick couple things about me. I go by Mr. Nandi, so I do go by my first name. That's what the students call me. And just a quick couple things about myself, and then we'll get into the course more. So I was born and raised just down the road in Yuma, Arizona. And I have a couple dogs here. You can see them down here in the bottom left. We have my wife and I, Jackson, who is our boxer here. And then our little guy here is Tucker. They are best friends. This picture is a couple years old now, so they are a lot more gray than what you see here in this picture, but you know, we love them just as much. My wife and I lived abroad for 2 years, which I'll talk about in the next couple slides, and just a couple quick hobbies that I enjoy doing. You know, we both love to travel. We're big international travelers. We've traveled to quite a few countries together. A huge passion of mine is gardening. We have a big vegetable garden at our house, which we just bought about 2 years ago now, and that's another one of my big hobbies. Just kind of working on my house and maintaining it to a nice condition. And then we also both love to cook. We're big cooks and bakers as well. So a bit about my professional background. So I got my degree from the University of Arizona. My Bachelor of Science is in Ecology and Evolutionary Biology. And while I was still an undergraduate there, I worked in a lab for a couple of years doing researching fungal ecology. And then as I graduated, I wanted to kind of move on to something else and test the waters of a different area of science. So I delved into the world of wildlife conservation for a little bit. Worked in Cape Cod, Massachusetts for a summer, studying the shorebirds here, this threatened species of shorebird, and then worked in the Vegas area with the Mojave Desert tortoise. And then I moved to San Diego, where I worked with the San Diego Zoo for a summer, also doing similar work with another species of shorebird right here on Silver Strand, actually. Got my Master's of Education from the University of San Diego, finally got into teaching. And previously I've worked at High Tech High. I worked at museum school for a couple of years, a small charter school in Bankers Hill. And then this is the living abroad part that I mentioned. We lived in Guatemala for 2 years. And I did teach science down there for those 2 years. I taught both middle school and high school. And in fact, this picture here at the bottom, this is actually the campus that I worked at, which is really an amazing campus. And you can see really amazing views there's actually 3 volcanoes there. You can actually only see one of them just because there's an eruption going on that's blocking out the view of the third one. But that was pretty normal, happened pretty much every day, these eruptions here. But yeah, really amazing experience. Now this is my 4th year here at CHS. So quickly about the class itself. So we do have a new textbook for this year. The other biology teacher and myself are really finding it very useful. We've been using it a lot already this first couple of weeks. And of course, with this new schedule, we're going to be working at a faster pace than what a lot of us are used to. We already have our first test coming up, even though we're only, here in the first couple of weeks of school. A couple big elements of my classes. One is problem solving. And I mean, I think that goes with any science discipline, but that is a big key element in my classes, as well as collaboration. So at any point, if you were to walk into my room, you would most likely see my students talking to each other, communicating with each other, and collaborating on, solving these problems, or identifying problems and then solving them. And, kind of piggybacking off of that is making the content relevant. So what is the importance of what they're learning, right? So, in science, there can be a lot of complex terminology thrown at the students, and that can kind of overwhelm a lot of people sometimes, a lot of learners. So I try to bring in some current events to try to make things relevant to them. Why is it important? How is it going to affect their personal lives? And I think that's really an important factor in any science class. So of course, there is a lab component, lecture and a lab component. This is kind of the main thing that I missed really the last 18 months is doing these labs. I think that's one of the most fun things that come with any science class is getting that hands-on experience, and really excited to start doing labs. We've already done a couple this year already, even though we're still very, very early in the semester. So yeah, there will be a lab component. Assignments, labs, exams are going to be the main components of the grades. We'll have an exam about every 2 to 3 weeks or so. We do have our first one coming up already very, very soon. And then mostly, the class is mostly composed of freshmen. So that being said, it's a big point for me to kind of allow these students to build self-advocacy for themselves and reach out to me now that they're in high school, find a way to communicate with me and communicate with their peers, and not only with me, but their other teachers as well. But really building those self-advocacy skills and reaching out when they need help, because that's a big part of high school, is becoming more and more independent. So that's a huge element of my class as well, and building those skills as freshmen. So for communicating with me, PowerSchool is going to be your #1 go-to. I'll show you that in a second, but everything will always be posted there. Assignments, grades, anything on the calendar shows exactly when things will happen, on what day, and then even up to the time of when things were due. And if you're trying to communicate with me, email is best, but if you prefer PowerSchool for whatever reason, that is fine as well. I know some people have some issues with PowerSchool just because it can be slow sometimes, and we're all familiar with email, but you can find my email here and feel free to contact me at any point. Do not hesitate. If you have any questions, if you need to reach out about anything, feel free, please, to contact me. So let me talk about a couple things here. Let's first go to PowerSchool and show you some important links and where to find some content and dates and times and all that stuff. So first thing, important links here will be, #1 is ClassLink. I will show you that in a second, but this is where we're going to access our textbook. We have an e-version, an online version of the textbook, and we will have physical copies of the textbook as well that students can check out. We have the syllabus here, 21, 22 syllabus that can be reviewed there. Talks about everything from late work to exams to grading and everything in between. And then Unit 1. So we're still on Unit 1 here. And just to kind of show you how this is broken down. So units will be composed of multiple chapters. So for example, our first unit, which we're wrapping up, is composed of chapter 1 and chapter 2. So we'll have a unit exam. So an exam at the end of each unit, which will be composed of both chapter 1 and chapter 2. So they will be responsible for learning both of those chapters for each exam. Sometimes there'll be 3 chapters. They won't ever be 1, but yeah, a unit will either be 2 or 3 chapters. So I try to organize it nice and neat for everybody. On the left side here, you can see is everything for chapter 1. And then on the right side is everything for chapter 2. So we have presentations will always be posted ahead of time. So if a student is out or they want to review any information, they can always go back and review the presentations, which look like this. Okay. Presentations, we always go over them in class, but again, they can review them. They can go over them on their own time. And then chapter 2, again, is up here at the top. Those will always be at the top. Assignments are listed here in the assignment block. So here's chapter 1, here's chapter 2. We do reviews for each section in each chapter. So hopefully that is nice and organized, easy to follow for everybody. Calendar. This is going to be the #1 thing here is the calendar, okay? So due dates are listed. You can see our unit test is here coming up on September 10th, Friday, but all due dates are nice and organized in kind of one spot here on the calendar. So this should be also your go-to for any information. Finally, last thing I'll talk about is the textbook, which looks like this. Again, it can be accessed through here. Welcome to CHS Biology and class link. So class link, then you'll click on Savas, and Savas will bring you to this page. This is our nice new online version of the textbook. We'll be using this for assignments, but also for some readings. So for assignments, maybe some assessments, PowerPoints are posted here occasionally. But yeah, this is a great study resource for every student in this class. It's organized nicely. The student version will look a little bit different, but for the most part, it'll look like this. And yeah, you can see it's organized by chapter. So chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down the list. And yeah, just kind of wanted to show you what that looked like for our textbook. But other than that, I think that's pretty much everything. So please, PowerSchool is your #1 go-to resource. Look at the calendar, review the syllabus, and then this video will be posted on PowerSchool to review at any time. But again, my name is Mr. Nandi. Please feel free to contact me at any time with any questions, and I'm happy to address anything. So thank you very much.